Welcome to the YouTube channel for Bible Biker Church in Rockwood, Tennessee. I am Fred Marshall, Elder and Associate Pastor. We pray that what you're about to see is inspiring to you as it is the truth in the Word of God, as it is written. We pray that it blesses you and anyone that you share it with. If you like what you see, please click on the like button and subscribe to our channel. Also know that you can find us on Facebook under the page name Bible Biker Church. Thanks and have a blessed day. All right, well, good evening. Throttle up, Biker Bible Study. How are we doing tonight?
All right.
You ever feel like that the world is just against you no matter what you do?
Yep.
Yes.
Do you ever feel like it's winning?
Sometimes.
Well, just remember that no matter how bad it gets, he won't win. Right? Just read the back of the book.
We already know how it ends.
We know it how it ends. It doesn't end in oh me or oh my. It ends in amen.
He was defeated when Christ said, "It is finished."
Tetelestai.
That's right.
And rose on the third day.
Rose on the third day. Not a faded rose from days gone by.
Praise
A rose. Yeah, stop. Okay. All right. Well,
That was on me.
this past Sunday we had our first church service in the new building. What y'all think?
That's
God.
awesome.
I got a message from Cheryl today that the new projector has come in. So hopefully tomorrow I'll get out there and try to hook it up. So that Sunday we can actually see what we're singing. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Although, you know, adversity makes us stronger.
That's truth. That is the truth right there. But man, what a crowd. We counted 5 bikes, 15 cars, 30 people.
That parking lot ain't been that packed in a long time.
No. I was telling a bunch of people that Mom and I went to a Christmas program there, I don't know, 2-3 years ago with Pansy and James. And it was crowded that night, of course, when Christmas it usually is, right? But
Yeah.
that was really nice. So it's sad to see a little church like that, you know, not prospering, right? But it was good to breathe new life into that church.
Yes, it was.
Oh man, that was great.
Maybe it's all in God's plan for that church to die out so ours
Well,
can thrive.
Well, there's a lot of theological difference of thought right there. So let's just say that the plan for us to move in there was there. How about that?
Yeah, there you go.
God has rekindled the fire.
All right.
There you go.
Right. Couple of quick things just to make sure everybody does this so that we don't bother each other. Mute your cell phone, please. I have to remind myself to do that. So.
I left mine.
And with all these storms coming in,
Yeah, it's gonna be weather alerts. Gonna be going crazy.
right, the weather alerts will be going off constantly. Now, speaking of which, if we start getting a lot of rain and I start watching the creek out there and I tell you it's time to go, it's time to go. We don't want to be in here when that creek goes over.
Just throw us a paddle. You know.
So, well, I sat there on the back porch and had to catch my go-kart one time as it was floating off. Mom says I sat down there and fished one time, but it trapped my dad down in the basement, so you know, it can get really high. It can. Anyway, but that's, let's just pray that doesn't happen, okay?
Yeah.
Let's pray for a good night instead. How about that? So tonight we're going to start in John chapter 11. Y'all ready for this?
Yeah.
Last week, you know, we talked about Jesus, you know, once again making the Pharisees upset by saying, ergo ime, I am, the Father and I are the same, right? You know, they don't like it when he claims to be God. Well, he doesn't have to claim it, he is it, right? But that's exactly what he says, you know. He said, where's that line I was looking for? They accuse him of blaspheming because he said, I am the Son of God. I am not doing the work. If I am not doing the works of my Father, then do not believe me. But if I do them, even though you do not believe me, believe the works that you may have known and understood that the Father is in me and I am in the Father. That's important, right?
Yeah.
Now, he is the God of the universe. he doesn't have to worry about any of the things that are going on. He takes it on personally because he's in human form, right? But he still knows what's happening. He knows what's going on. He knows the hearts and the minds of these men that are aggravating him, right? Well, it's not over yet. It's not done. He has more aggravating to do, all right? So let me pray for us and we'll get into tonight's study in chapter 11, all right? Heavenly Father, Lord God, again, we thank you for this place that you've given us. Lord, we thank you for the people that are here, Lord. We just pray for those that didn't make it tonight. Lord, you bring them back in your time. Father God, I do bless you, and I thank you for everything that you're doing for us here. Father God, I thank you for the ability to stand up here and speak the word that you've given us. And Father, I just praise your name for all that you're doing to us, through us, and for us in this place. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
No. Just like that. Something happens. Alright, so John chapter 11, it starts off with an interesting story, and we've got to do some background thinking about who it's talking about, alright? So let me just give you the first verse here, and then we'll go from there. It says, "Now a certain man was ill, Lazarus of Bethany, the village of Mary and her sister Martha." So first, which Mary is this?
Her sister Martha, that would be Mary and Joseph, right?
No.
No,
It's not.
Magdalene.
No, this is Mary of Magda, which they call her Mary Magdalene, from Bethany. Right. So this is Mary Magdalene and her sister Martha and their brother Lazarus.
Oh,
Okay.
and that's their brother?
Yes. Now, this is not the Lazarus that was with the rich man. Okay? Remember, the rich man dies and goes to hell.
Yeah.
And he looks up and he sees Lazarus and he tells Moses, "Let Lazarus dip his finger in the water," or Abraham. I don't remember which one. Either way, let him dip his finger in the water and touch my tongue. That's not the same Lazarus.
Right.
They're not the same one. So now we've got the setting here. Well, let me tell you this. Bethany is about 2 miles outside of Jerusalem. Okay? So they're still down in that area, down in Judea, right? Where they've been arguing with the Pharisees from the temple. Remember, they got not chased out, but they left that little area where the money was, right? The treasury. Thank you. Couldn't think of the word. I got the word secretary stuck in my head. I knew that wasn't it. Anyway, so they're down in that area, and Jesus has made them all angry because of what he said.
Wait.
But wait. A certain man was ill. This is one of those times where you have to sit back and you have to think, Jesus knew he was ill. Why didn't he fix him without somebody telling him to? Okay?
To show the Father's works.
Perfect answer. Let's go to verse 2. It was Mary who anointed the Lord with ointment and wiped his feet with her hair. See, that's why I was saying which Mary was it, right? Whose brother Lazarus was ill. Okay? Didn't tell us anything new there, did it? They just said the same sentence in a different way. It gave you another point of reference. So the sisters sent to him, Jesus, and saying, "Lord, he whom you love is ill." Now there's a special bond between Jesus and these people. If you think about Mary Magdalene, she has now followed him since he drove the demons out of her. And her whole family is indebted to Jesus and follow him because of the change they've seen in her life. So it doesn't say this in the Bible, but you can almost, by this comment, think that Lazarus is a running buddy of Jesus's. Jesus's. I have a hard time saying that word. Is that more than one Jesus, or is that possessive Jesus's? Jesus.
Jesus's, or is it Jesus?
Jesus. That was funny. I love it. So the girls now tell him Lazarus is ill. Did they ask him for anything? Did they go up and plead with him? Not yet, right? I mean, there's nothing said there yet. It says the sisters sent to him. So who'd they send? Not Lazarus. He's sick. Doesn't say. But the sisters sent to Jesus a message that says, Lord, the one who you love is ill. But when Jesus, it's one of those things where he knows it's coming. You know, why sometimes I have to wonder, why does it call out specific things? But when Jesus heard it, he said, this illness does not lead to death. It is for the glory of God. So that the Son of God may be glorified through it. Remember not long ago we did the story of the businessman whose son lay dying? And he ran to Jesus and said, please, please come save my son. And he said, by your faith.
Was he a centurion?
Was that the centurion story? There was
No,
two stories.
no.
Yeah, that's two different ones.
Two
Right.
different ones.
That's another story.
He's one help Billy.
Right, the centurion was the girl. Right, this man had a son that was blind, dead, dying. Okay? But he said, by your faith he is healed. And he started on his way back home. The others met him halfway and said, 1 o'clock yesterday, in the 7th hour yesterday.
Right.
Which is when Jesus said, okay, the girls sent to him saying, the one you love is ill. If it's the one he loves, you think you really want to do something for this guy, right?
Right.
Which you will. Don't fret. It's okay. Just chill out for a minute. But he says this illness doesn't lead to death. Remember, I keep telling you, when you talk about death, you got to know which word it's using. If it's using the Old Testament word, death is when they pass into Sheol and they go and they wait. Right? Jesus hasn't finished it yet, the telestai, right? So that's what would happen at this point even, right? But listen to this. In verse 5 it says, now Jesus loved Martha and her sister Mary and Lazarus. Remember I said there was a special bond with these people?
Yeah.
There are even some fanatics that say, and I do not believe this at all, that Jesus and Mary Magdalene were a couple. If you ever watch the movie Tom Hanks, where he does
Da
all
Vinci Code.
the Da Vinci Code, that's what they talk about.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are some that believe that. It's not in the Bible. I don't believe it. Doesn't matter. But this is saying that he did love these people. Because he loved Mary and her sister Martha and Lazarus.
Yeah.
Okay? So he loves them, and he's got this message, and he's heard it, so he could do something, right? But he just said, this illness will not lead to death. Okay?
Right.
6 then says, so when he heard that Lazarus was ill, he got up and ran to Lazarus' side? No. He got up and spoke healing in that direct? No. It says he stayed 2 days longer in the place where he was. But Lazarus is sick. Why are you going to stay there 2 more days? Well, you'll find out here in a minute it was longer than 2 days before he got there. Because he has to show them something. Remember, he's already said this illness will not lead to death, but it will lead to the glory of the Father to glorify the Son whom he sent. Okay?
Right.
Then after this, he said to the disciples, let's go to Judea again. Look, this is a place where they're waiting for him. They're going to kill him. Well, obviously they do eventually, but the last time he was there, they were going to stone him. Okay? They don't like him there. The disciples said to him, Rabbi, meaning teacher, the Jews were just now seeking to stone you, and And are you going there again? What are you, come some kind of crazy or what? You know? Why would you want to go someplace where they don't want you? Where they want to kill you? Why would a patched brother go into a territory of another club knowing that they don't get along?
Because that's where he is needed.
Because that's where his services are needed. That is absolutely correct. Now, here's the cool part about it. Jesus knows when his time comes. The disciples don't. So, Jesus could walk through a minefield because he knows it's not his time. I'm not saying he would be a showboat about it. I'm just saying, look, he keeps going. He went to the feast, not because he's hungry, but because there was something he had to do. Right. Jesus answered them, are there not 12 hours in a day? There's a whole lot of speculation about what that means. Does that mean that the sun is up from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.? Possibly. Does that mean that they consider the difference between day and night 12 hours? Possibly. But one thing that you have to remember, we don't know what day of the week this is, but if it's coming up on the Sabbath, they can't walk after dark. Now that's not what this is, but that would be one thing to think about. They have to be indoors before dark for Passover. Okay? It's not what it is. Watch this. If anyone walks in the day, he does not stumble. Well, some of us do, but that's a different story. Because he sees the light of this world. Put the emphasis on that word "this" here for a second. Where's that light coming from? If it's for this world. No.
No. The enemy.
No.
Oh,
I'm not going that deep yet. I'm just talking about the sun.
oh,
Okay?
okay.
So keep your focus here. He's talking about the daylight hours. Remember I said there's an argument about what he means here? There's 12 hours in a day. 12 hours of sunlight is what the majority of the argument people say is what it is. Okay? Now we'll get to what you said, Fred. But if anyone walks in the night, he stumbles. Whether or not he's going to the bathroom or not, it doesn't matter. Stuff's just dope. Because the light is not on him. That is still the light of this world.
The light is
In
not
him.
in him.
Right. See how it switched? He does not stumble because he sees the light of this world. Anyone walks in the night, he stumbles because the light is not in him. There's a difference in the way that is written. Because now he's going to start talking about the light of heaven. After saying these things, he said to them, our friend Lazarus has fallen asleep, but I go to awaken him. Again, back to the Old Testament word for death and being asleep and waiting. Right? So that's what he's saying. He hasn't gone anywhere yet. He's asleep. But at that moment, when he says that, Lazarus has already been dead for a while. Because the disciples said to him, Lord, if he has fallen asleep, he will recover. They're thinking, well, if he's just sleeping, he'll get up eventually. The fever will break, whatever, and he'll get up. That's not what Jesus is talking about. Jesus is saying he's dead. But I'm going to bring him back out. But remember the little girl, the centurion's daughter?
Yeah.
He said, don't fear if she is just asleep. And then he calls her out and she comes out?
Yeah.
Okay. Now Jesus had spoken of his death, but they thought he meant taking a rest in sleep. No, Lazarus is dead. Okay? But he wants them to see how important the difference is in the things that he's saying. Then Jesus told them plainly, Lazarus has died. That he don't get much plainer, no plainer than that, he dead.
He did.
D-E-D, dead. Right? He done gone.
Yeah.
He done rode that big Cadillac to the sky.
Yeah.
Right? And for your, that word is not saki, no matter how many times I read it that way. And for your sake, I am glad that I was not there. Okay, wait. They sent for him to come and save Lazarus. But he says, for your sake, I'm glad I wasn't there to save him. So that you may believe. He's fixing to raise Lazarus from the dead. Not just from a good sleep, but from the dead.
He was graveyard dead.
Great, we're fixing to get there. He's in the tomb. He doesn't have the rock rolled in front of him. But let us go to him. Come on, guys, let's go see this dead body.
Yeah. Why would you go?
So Thomas, oh, here's a good one,
Doubting Thomas.
called the twin I even studied the word. Starts with a D. Dishami? Dishami? Something like that? Anyway, which actually means the first of two. So Thomas is the older. So the twin said to his fellow disciples, let us also go that we may die with him. Which him? Read that again. Thomas said, well, come on, y'all, let's go die with him. Is he talking about Lazarus, because Lazarus is dead? Or go to die with him, Jesus, because they're going to kill him when they get there? Right?
Right.
They're telling him, don't go, boss. Don't go. Don't go. It's bad news. You know? They got pitchforks. They got stones. Not the rolling stones, but you can't roll them. Anyway. Now when Jesus came to where they were, he found that Lazarus had already been in the tomb for 4 days. So they didn't put Lazarus in the tomb before he was dead. And we know that Jesus was at that other place for 2 days after he heard the message. So he heard the message, Lazarus was already dead, and then it took him 2 days to walk 3 or 4 miles to get to where Lazarus is. You got to really think about the timing of all this. Why? You know, he wanted to make sure Lazarus was dead so that there could be no mistake about what he was about to do.
Yeah, because in the 4th day, the body starts to decay.
Right. And one of the next verses will talk just about that. But he'd already been dead for 4 days. Does it matter how long you're dead if Jesus is going to bring you back? No. He could have brought him back already and Lazarus be in there playing cards. We don't know. But he's been in the tomb 4 days. It's dark in here. Bethany was near Jerusalem, about 2 miles off. See, like I say, why did it take him 2 days to walk that?
Yeah.
He's just taking his time.
Yeah. Strolling.
And many of the Jews had come to Martha and Mary to console them concerning their brother. Look, they're fixing to have the wake, right? They're fixing to say he's gone, and we got to live without him, and we got to divvy up his stuff, and who gets his sandals, and all that mess, right? Because it's 4 days he's been in there. So when Martha heard that Jesus was coming, this is Mary Magdalene's sister, she went and met him. But Mary Magdalene remained seated in the house. Why would she want to get up and go meet Jesus since he didn't get here in time? Right?
Right.
She,
Have more faith.
you got to think about that. Is she mad at him? We don't know. It doesn't say that.
She's hurt.
She's hurt. That's a good hurt right there.
But Jesus is setting the stage.
Yes, he is. Martha runs out to him. Martha said to Jesus, Lord, if you'd have been here, brother would not have died. That's the worldly view that we have. Because we don't know, we don't understand why there's pain. We don't understand why there's death. We don't understand why there's suffering. Because if Jesus would just come back, it would be over. Right? Right. No. Did Jesus, how do I say this? I want you to get the full effect of this. Jesus could have fixed him from where he was. We've already discussed that. But he didn't, because there's something else that he had to show them. Right? Did Jesus cause him to die?
No.
No, nothing would have stopped it.
But Jesus allowed him.
He could have stopped it. Yeah, he could have.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
What nature took its course
Yeah, he let nature take
at that time.
Why did it take him 4 days to get there? If they woke up in the rocking boat and saw him walking on the water, and you said he just thought about it and he was there. He could have done the same thing here.
Yeah.
But he wants them to see the miracle of God's glory. Okay? But even now, I know that whatever you ask from God, God will give you. So Martha believes.
Yeah.
Her faith is strong. Whatever God says to you, whatever you say to God, He gives you. I know that now. I get it. That's what she's saying. Okay? But just a second ago she said, if you had only been here. So she knows who He is, but she thinks that He has to physically be there to fix him. He doesn't. Jesus said to her, your brother will rise again. Just like any good Southern biscuit. Rise twice. No. Your brother will, not might, not could, but will rise again.
Well, he is the bread of life.
Yes, He is. He's also the light of the world.
Brother Will rise again.
Brother Will, wait a minute, he's not here.
It's right there. It says,
Brother Will, rise again.
your brother will rise again. Brother will rise again.
That's fun.
Oh, it needs to be a comma there. That's fine. That's where it's.
Punctuation is everything.
And
You see that
capitalization.
meme on Facebook where it says, God hates sin and will punish. Pastor Ledbetter at 11. There's no comma after, God will punish, and then Pastor Ledbetter will have service after that, whatever. So, God hates sin and He will punish Pastor Ledbetter. Anyway, so Jesus said to her, your brother will rise again. This is not a maybe. This is not a, I think he might. This is a, he's going to. Right?
Right.
24 says, Martha said to him, I know that he will rise again in the resurrection on the last day. Remember I told you what happens to people when they die? They go to sleep and they wait in Sheol for the resurrection day. Some people call it the judgment day, right? So that's where they think he is. Well, technically he is. He's waiting for his judgment. But Jesus has a different idea. He's just letting him hang out in the back closet for now. He's not actually having to deal with that. Jesus said to her, I am the resurrection and the life. Whoever believes in me, though he die, yet shall he live. Now, put that into the perspective of what's happening right then. Lazarus is dead, laying in a tomb, and Jesus says, I am the resurrection and the life. He will come back to life. Now apply that to our lives, because he says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me, later on. He's talking about when we physically die, we stand in front of him. If we're in him because of our faith in him, then we will get to the Father. You see the correlation there? They don't understand that yet. But that's what he's trying to teach them. Again, we have the benefit of the rest of the book. And everyone who lives and believes in me shall never. Notice it doesn't say that we will never have pain. It doesn't say that we will never cease to live. It says we shall never die. What does that word die mean? Remember the word death in the Old Testament? Is an eternity without God.
Oh yeah.
So none of the people that believes in him shall die, have an eternity without God. Do you believe this? Do you believe this?
Yeah.
No doubt.
No doubt.
No doubt.
For what the Son has set free is free indeed. Jesus came not to condemn the world, but to save it. Look. This is a very important thing that he's saying to Martha, the sister of the man who's laying dead in a tomb. Look, trust me. I got this.
Yeah.
And to us, he says, trust me. I got this. And what do?
Are you sure?
We fight against it.
Yep.
We tell him we want to give him our problems, and then we take them back.
Yes, over and over again.
Fred, this is a good example of what you're talking about. My knee was in such bad shape I couldn't hardly walk. Brother Gene laid hands on me and Jesus took the pain from me.
Yep.
All right. Now, even though the pain was gone, every step I'd take, I was afraid that pain was going to hit me again. But yet, I had to overrule that and,
And believe in Jesus.
I had to push myself to believe in them. Yeah. And I finally got out of that, I got to watch how I step here. I got to watch how I step here. But that's the kind of mindset that I believe you're talking about, is that even though you believe, there's always this fight or flight system in your head that says, wait a minute, we can't just invest wholeheartedly into this because we're not absolutely positive, 100% sure, So you go ahead, I'm sorry.
So like Indiana Jones, you have to take the leap of faith out of lion's mouth.
That's it.
And
That's
believe.
it. And believe.
He's got you.
Amen, brother.
And even if the pain is here, it won't follow you into the kingdom of heaven. She said to him, yes, Lord, I believe that you are the Christ, the Messiah, the deliverer, the freer, the Son of God who is coming into the world. So she gets it.
Yeah.
Remember I said when she ran out there to him, she knew. This is just proving that point. She gets it. So what about this story is inspiring? The fact that Jesus can do anything at any time but waits until he's ready to glorify God with what happens? Sure. Is it that Jesus will come no matter what and when? Sure. Will we understand it when he does? No. Not always. But he will.
Praise God.
He is the resurrection and the life. So these people that say, you Christians have to give up everything. I didn't give up much, did you? Yeah, I don't have hangovers in the morning.
I didn't give up anything.
You know what I'm saying? I'm having a happier life doing this than I ever did without it.
Much more peaceful.
I gave up nothing.
You got to watch your back a whole lot less. You gave up nothing.
which is what I considered it, nothing.
Yeah. Gave up one thing.
Paul says, though I count it all as lost.
There it is. There it is right there in a nutshell.
Yeah.
It's always, everything's in the Bible there, isn't it? I'm telling you.
There's not a situation you can come across that's not in here.
No.
Everything is here. Everything is here. Well, that didn't take as long as I thought. That's as far as I had planned. So, you want to do a few more verses?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, give me just a second and we'll go ahead and do this, because it's early still.
I heard this preacher say on the television, he only gave up one thing. And I asked him what that was, he said, my ticket to hell.
That's it.
Okay, this next section is kind of small, so it goes about 6 verses. So 28 then says, when she had said this, so I believe you, I know that you are the Christ. So when she had said this, she went and called her sister Mary, saying in private, the teacher is here and is calling for you. Why would she do that in secret? Now remember, Lazarus is dead in the tomb, and they're saying if Jesus had only been here 4 days ago, he would have died. Now he's here. Do you think any of them might be a little upset?
Could be a whole house full of upset people.
Right. 29 then says, and when she heard it, she rose quickly and went out to him. So she's not mad. She was being respectful, I would imagine, to the family, right? I'm not sure, but I think she's the older of the 2 sisters. I'm not sure about that, but I think she is. So it's her job to make sure everybody's got what they need and stuff, just like at a wake that you'd have now, right? 30 then says, now Jesus had not yet come into the village, but was still in the place where Martha had met him. So he hadn't come into town yet. It's only taken him 2 days to get this far. You know, moving for what, you know, for the reason that he gives. And I love to put the word but at the first front of the sentence. But when, so when the, yes?
I have a question for you.
Yes.
All right. Obviously, we're talking about a very small area here because she's talking to Jesus. Then she goes into the house in the village and talks to Mary. And then, again, right back out where Martha had met him. He's still there. So
Right.
Mary goes back out of the village.
Yeah. To the bus stop, wherever he's at.
Yeah, but I mean, it must be a very small area that they're talking about here.
I would imagine so. I do not know the specific size of the town, but
Because it's almost like they're just running back and forth across the fence, you know. Hey, wait a minute, let me get back over here.
okay, Jesus always knows what's going on, right?
Yeah.
He's got this planned out from the beginning to the end, right? When the Jews who were with her in the house, consoling her, saw Mary rise quickly and go out, they followed her, supposing that she was going to the tomb to weep there. Boy, they're going to get a surprise, aren't they?
Yeah. So the house was full of Jews.
Correct. Remember, they were there to console her. Right?
Yeah.
And they were close enough to Jerusalem to where it'll get back to them real quick.
Yep. Remember, it's
Get
only
back
2
to the
miles.
Pharisees.
Yeah, 2 miles away. That's a 10-minute walk. 2 miles.
Yeah, a little longer. Yeah. 7-minute mile is a good run. So 10 minutes per mile is a good walk, fast pace. Anyway, I hate getting water in my bottle.
Don't water it down.
I'm not. That's why I was just saying that. Where am I? I'm in 32. Now, when Mary came to where Jesus was and saw him, she fell at his feet, not the first time she's been there, saying to him, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. So once again, she's saying, just like Martha had, if you'd just been here in time, you could have done something. So she doesn't have the faith. Yes?
It's kind of like she was blaming Jesus.
For not being there in time.
Yeah.
Right. If you just got here in time, you could have held on.
How many times do we say that in this day and age?
Daily. Right? How many times
I
a
can hear
day?
her say, I got this.
Yeah.
And, I got this.
Why do we keep doing that? Why do we, to ourselves, we keep doing that? So 33. When Jesus saw her weeping, and the Jews who had come with her also weeping, he was deeply moved in his spirit and greatly troubled. These people really loved Lazarus, and it moves Jesus to see the affection that these people had for him. 34, and he said, where have you laid him? They said to him, Lord, come and see. Jesus knows where the body is, but he wants to involve them to make sure that they are there present with what's about to happen. Now the next verse, if taken completely out of context, is just twisted so badly. Jesus wept. Shortest verse in the Bible. Why did Jesus... He knows that he's fixing to bring Lazarus back. He knows that this is not the end. He knows that Lazarus shall rise again. He knows that his death, that is going to come in the future, will only lead to his life in heaven. Why does Jesus cry?
He's moved by their emotions.
By their emotions.
Yeah.
He is 100% man and 100% God. God is loving the fact that he's seen these people have the passion for their brother. But he is also seeing how overwhelmed they are. They don't get it yet. Right? So, Jesus wept does not mean he's a wimp.
No.
Jesus wept at the emotions
With them.
with them. You understand that difference? That is a powerful, short sentence. Powerful. He is not in... That would be a double negative. I'm not going to do that. He is very compassionate. He's very just, but he's very loving.
Because, remember, he's God.
Mm-hmm.
God is absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, and we need to get this flat in love with us. He created us. He loves us.
He created the universe for us.
All for us. Like, I was just watching last week the fireflies coming up. And it's getting ready to get dark in the night. I really feel like that God put that show on for me. I mean, it was just beautiful. I mean, it's really, really get it.
Where are you from? Call them fireflies. Them lightning bugs.
I'm up north.
Amen, brother.
I'm north of the Dixie line.
Yeah,
I knew that. That's why I'm saying
We're
that.
in Tennessee now, they're not no
Fireflies.
They make you think there's a lightning storm coming when you're laying on your back looking up.
Yeah. But Jesus wept. So the Jews said, see how he loved him? He's breaking down because Lazarus is dead. No, that's not why he's doing it. That's why I wanted to point it out before we got here. He is associating with them to show compassion. But some of them said, could not he who opened the eyes of the blind man also have kept this man from dying? Of course. Well, of course he could have. Of course he could have, but that's not what God had intended.
He's drawing them out.
He's making them come to see, right?
Yeah.
37. Then Jesus, deeply moved again, came to the tomb. It was a cave, and a stone laid against it. Jesus said, take the stone away. Take away the stone, sorry. Martha, the sister of the dead man, said to him, Lord, by this time there will be an odor. Well, he's been in there for 4 days. Why? Because after 3 days, the body starts to decompose. Right? Jesus said to her, take away the stone. Martha, my sister of the dead man, said, it's been stinking. Jesus said to her, did I not tell you that if you believed, you would see the glory of God? You seemed like you understood. You seemed like you believed it. And now you're doubting it again.
Yeah.
Just take the stone away and watch what happens. Watch what happens. I don't think I got this far in that. I didn't. So let me just read this. 41. So they took away the stone, and Jesus lifted up his eyes and said, Father, I thank you that you have heard me. I knew that you always hear me. But I said this on account of the people standing around, that they may believe that you have sent me. See, he could have done it from wherever. They would have still known it was him, but it was him again. And the Jews would have just said, well, he was asleep. No, he's dead. He's in the tomb 4 days.
And they hear him.
And they hear the words now. When he had said these things, he cried out with a loud voice, Lazarus, come out! And the man who had died came out, his hands and feet bound with the linen straps, and his face wrapped with a cloth. Jesus said to them, unbind him and let him go.
There you go.
He was dead. But when Jesus said, come on out, right? No, not Ollie Oxenfree, don't go there. He just said, Lazarus,
Hey, Bubba, watch this.
get out here now. He came out still bandaged up. You know, he still had the death clothes on.
Does that mean he was like bound up? And
Yes.
come hopping out of the cave?
Well, shuffling quickly.
So, little steps.
Baby step.
Like a mummy.
Well, I don't know about yours. Mine I have to push around in a...
No, I said mummy.
Oh, mummy. Okay, right. Right.
Wrapped
Exactly.
up like a mummy.
Wrap up like that's why, because they would probably, again, we don't know what day it is or whatever when they put if they have the sweet perfume to put on him and stuff like that. But here's the thing. Jesus had it already planned out. Lazarus is going to die. Nobody knew why. And they wanted to say, Jesus, if you'd have just been here, you wouldn't have died. But the purpose of him dying was so that they would see him say, Father, fix it.
Yeah.
And he did.
God be the glory.
To God be the glory. That's why we never know why we're in pain, why we're sick, why we die. It should be for the glory of God. Whatever happens, happens. Did God make Lazarus die?
No.
No.
We asked that before. Now you see why he allowed him to die. Amen?
Amen.
Questions? Okay? Well, fine then.
Yes, sir.
How about this? Do we have any prayer requests? We're going to turn the camera off at this point. We'll see you guys next week.